Have you ever wondered how the Mongol invasions shaped the course of Russian history? In the 13th century, the Mongol Empire, under the leadership of Genghis Khan and his descendants, swept across Asia and Europe in a series of invasions that left an indelible mark on world history. The Russian lands were not spared. The Mongols, with their superior military tactics and sheer force, subjected the Russian principalities to their rule, a period commonly referred to as the Mongol yoke. The Mongol domination over the Russian lands was oppressive and brutal. The Mongols imposed heavy taxes, enslaved the local population, and used fear and violence to maintain control. The social, cultural, and political landscape of the Russian lands was drastically transformed. However, amid the darkness of the Mongol yoke, Moscow emerged as a beacon of hope. The Mongols granted special privileges to the princes of Moscow, who collected taxes on behalf of the Mongols. With this wealth, Moscow grew in power and influence, slowly but surely asserting itself as a significant power center. The Mongol rule also inadvertently sowed seeds of unification among the Russian principalities. The shared experience of suffering under the Mongol yoke, coupled with the rise of Moscow, fostered a sense of unity among the Russian people. The Orthodox Church also played a crucial role in preserving Russian culture and identity during this period, further strengthening the bonds of unity. The Mongol yoke, while a period of great suffering, was also a catalyst for transformation. It was during this time that the disparate Russian principalities began to coalesce, setting the stage for the formation of a unified Russian state. The Mongol rule, though oppressive, inadvertently sowed seeds of unification among the Russian principalities. So how did Moscow, once a minor town, become the heart of the Russian nation? It all began with a man named Ivan III, also known as Ivan the Great. A shrewd and determined ruler, Ivan was instrumental in transforming Moscow from a small principality into a formidable, centralized state. Under Ivan's rule, Moscow began to flourish. He seized territories, expanded Moscow's borders, and most importantly, he threw off the Mongol yoke, ending 2 centuries of Mongol dominance. This act of defiance against the mighty Golden Horde was a turning point in Russian history. It was a symbolic moment of liberation that marked the emergence of Moscow as a powerful entity. But Ivan didn't stop there. He went on to claim a title that would cement his and Moscow's authority: Tsar. Borrowing the term from the Byzantine emperors, Ivan declared himself Tsar, the ruler of all the Russias. This was more than just a title. It was a statement of intent. By declaring himself Tsar, Ivan was asserting his absolute authority over the Russian lands and their people. Now, let's not forget the role the Orthodox Church played in this historical period. The Church was a major force in promoting Russian nationalism. It positioned Moscow as the Third Rome, the spiritual successor to the fallen Byzantine Empire. This claim gave Moscow religious legitimacy and helped consolidate its power. The Church also supported Ivan's autocratic rule. It endorsed the concept of the Tsar as a God-given ruler, reinforcing Ivan's authority. This symbiotic relationship between the Church and the state played a major role in shaping Russia's political and cultural identity. Ivan III's reign was a transformative era that saw the rise of Moscow and the establishment of the Tsardom of Russia. From the ashes of the Mongol yoke, a new Russian state was born, one that would evolve and endure through centuries of turmoil and change. Ivan III's reign marked the birth of a centralized Russian state. His legacy still resonates today, as Moscow remains the pulsating heart of Russia, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Russian people. But the path to a unified Russia was not smooth. What happened during the time of troubles? Following the death of Ivan the Terrible, Russia was plunged into a period of chaos and confusion known as the Time of Troubles. This tumultuous era, which lasted from the late 16th to the early 17th century, was marked by political instability, widespread famine, and foreign invasion. The death of Ivan had left a power vacuum, leading to a series of false claimants to the throne, civil uprisings, and Polish intervention. However, amidst the turmoil, a beacon of hope emerged. In 1624, a young boy named Mikhail Romanov was elected by a national assembly to become the new Tsar. His election marked the beginning of a new era, the Romanov dynasty, which would rule Russia for over 300 years. The Time of Troubles was a dark chapter in Russian history, but it ended with the rise of the Romanovs. What was the role of the Romanov dynasty in shaping modern Russia? Let's delve into this question. The Romanov dynasty, beginning with Mikhail Romanov in the early 17th century, would go on to shape the very heart of Russia for over 300 years. Two czars in particular, Peter the Great and Catherine the Great, left indelible marks on the nation. Peter the Great was a transformative figure, pushing Russia towards modernization. He focused on strengthening the military and expanding the navy, believing these were essential for Russia to become a formidable power. He also sought to westernize the country, introducing new customs, manners, and even clothing styles that were more in line with Western Europe. His efforts weren't always met with enthusiasm, but he pressed on, determined to propel Russia into the modern age. Catherine the Great, another standout ruler from the Romanov dynasty, continued Peter's work. Her reign saw territorial expansion, with the annexation of Crimea and parts of Poland. She was a patron of the arts, fostering a cultural renaissance that still resonates in Russia's identity today. However, while the Romanovs pushed for modernization and expansion, they also sowed the seeds of their own downfall. The lower classes, the serfs and peasants, bore the brunt of these ambitious projects. They were heavily taxed, their lives regulated, and their freedoms curtailed. Discontent grew like a slow-burning flame. The Romanovs, ensconced in their gilded palaces, failed to see the rising tide of revolutionary sentiment. The gap between the opulent czars and the impoverished masses widened, creating a chasm filled with resentment and anger. This was a ticking time bomb, waiting for the right moment to explode. In the end, the Romanovs' reign was a paradox. On one hand, they brought Russia into the modern world, transforming it into a powerful empire. On the other, their disregard for the lower classes set in motion the events that would lead to their downfall. The Romanovs' reign saw great strides in modernization, but also set the stage for revolution. And finally, how did the Bolshevik Revolution change Russia forever? Let's delve into the heart of the matter. The Bolshevik Revolution, a seismic event in world history, was more than just a change in leadership. It was a radical restructuring of society and governance that ended more than 3 centuries of Romanov rule, and gave rise to the world's first socialist state. The seeds of revolution were sown amidst the tumult of World War I. Russia, struggling with economic hardship and political discontent, was ripe for change. The February Revolution of 1917 saw the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II, and a provisional government was established. But it was the October Revolution, led by the Bolshevik Party under Vladimir Lenin, that truly shook the world. Lenin, a charismatic leader, promised peace, land, and bread to a war-weary and impoverished populace. The Bolsheviks seized power from the provisional government in a virtually bloodless coup. They immediately pulled Russia out of the war and set about implementing radical socialist reforms. Now let's consider the impact. The Bolshevik Revolution didn't just change Russia, it altered the course of world history. It established the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, a superpower that would play a pivotal role in global events for most of the 20th century. It also ignited a spark that led to numerous other communist movements around the world. The revolution, however, had its dark side. It led to a brutal civil war, widespread famine, and the establishment of a totalitarian regime that suppressed dissent and controlled every aspect of life. The promise of equality and prosperity often fell short, with millions suffering under harsh conditions. Yet, despite its contradictions, the Bolshevik Revolution remains a landmark event. It challenged the established order and offered a radical alternative to capitalism, leaving a legacy that continues to influence political and social debates to this day. The Bolshevik Revolution marked a radical shift in Russian history, setting the stage for the Soviet era. And so, the stage was set for a new chapter in the annals of history, one marked by the hammer and sickle, the symbols of a revolution that promised a new world order. So, what can we glean from this journey through Russian history? From the Mongol yoke, we see a Russia under foreign domination, yet this period also laid the groundwork for a unified nation. The rise of Moscow, transforming from a small principality to the Tsardom of Russia, marked the country's emergence as a powerful player on the world stage. Then, we witnessed the time of troubles, a tumultuous era of political crisis and social unrest, followed by the stability of the Romanov dynasty. But even the Romanovs' rule was not without its challenges, leading to the revolutionary fervor that culminated in the Bolshevik Revolution. This revolution, a radical shift, ushered in an entirely new era, changing not only Russia but also the course of world history. Each of these epochs, with their triumphs and tribulations, has shaped the Russia we know today. The course of Russian history, marked by invasions, czars, and revolutions, is a testament to the nation's resilience and adaptability.